Hello everyone, my name is Ajmerdin and this is Inter Audit Examination for November 2018. So how is it for you everyone? Just let me know through the comment box talking about the answers for the questions. So in this video we are going to discuss from second to fifth. So second ka A part was factors that should be considered for deciding upon the extent of checking on sample plan. So of course there should be size of organization, you should consider state of internal controls there, tolerable error range you have planned, and degree of desired confidence you are acquiring on the controls of the entity, and last but not the least, adequacy and reliability of books and records. These are some factors which you should consider before having a sampling plan. And B part, an adequate planning benefit or benefits the audit of financial statement. Discuss an adequate planning benefits the audit of financial statements. Of course the adequate planning always help, and in this regard you must write that the adequate planning benefits the audit of financial statements in several ways, like helping the auditor to develop appropriate attention to important areas of audit. It also helps the auditor in identifying and potentially resolving that problems on the timely basis which might occur during the audit. And it also helps in assessing wherever applicable in coordination of work done with the other auditors and the auditors of the components and the expert coordination with them. It also facilitates in directing and supervision of the audit team which are engaged in your audit and review of the work. Okay, so C part, professional judgment is essential to proper conduct of audit. So of course professional judgment is always essential, and whenever we talk about professional judgment is necessary, in particular regarding decisions about materiality, audit risk, the nature, timing and extent of the audit procedure used to meet the requirements of all the standard on auditing, and gathering of the evidences, the evaluation of management judgment in applying the entity's applicable financial reporting framework. These things you should consider while making professional judgment in the conduct of the audit. For D part, it is asked that with respect to the audit in automated environment, explain the following. First is CAT. So of course everyone know CAT is a short form of computer assisted audit techniques, and they are the collection of computer based tools and techniques that are used in audit for analyzing the data in the electronic form, which can serve as an audit evidence. Then it comes to data analytics. It is the combination of process, tools and techniques that are used to tap vast amount of data you have gathered, and then into analyzing them in a meaningful informations. Databases is a subsystem, logical subsystem, where large amount of information is stored, of electronic information is stored. And information system, it refers to the collection of electronic hardware, software, networks and processes that are used in a business to carry out the operations and the transactions. And privileged access is a type of super user access to information system that enforces less or not with no limit on using that system. For example, administrators. Third ka A part was Pankaj, CA Pankaj जो है he hasn't checked for the opening balances. So of course he is incorrect. He need to check the opening balances of the financial statement. He need to determine whether the prior period closing balances have been correctly brought forward in the current period, and whether and when appropriate any adjustment have been made or disclosed in the prior period items of the current financial year as well. So these were the things you must have right. And in third B, while the auditor may choose to analyze the monthly trend, and an auditor generally prefers to verify other attributes. So you need to write down what are the other attributes. So while the auditor may choose to analyze the monthly trends of expenses like rent, power and fuel, an auditor generally prefers to vouch for the other expenses to verify that whether the expenditure pertains to the current period under audit or not, whether the expenditure qualify as a revenue or as a capital expenditure, whatever the differentiation, the classification may be, whether the expenditure had valid supporting like travel tickets, insurance policy, third party invoices, other supporting documents which authorizes the expenditure, whether the expenditure have been classified under the correct expense set, etc, etc. You need to write down here. In the C part, third C, write the audit procedures to perform as an auditor for valuation, for valuation assertion, for the following loans and advances. So here you need to check for existence and completeness. I hope this was a manageable part for you. Finished goods and goods for resale, of course you need to check the valuation as per the standards, and inquire about the cost which are included there. Ensure the inventories are valued at the NRV and NRV or the market NRV or the cost whichever is lower as per the as per the standards, and the complete record is there. So you need to mention a whole lot of accounting which might have down some of the parts. And in this fourth, it was planning is not a discrete phase of an audit, but rather a continual and iterative process, and that often being shortly after the completion of previous audit and continues until the completion of current audit engagement. Planning, however, includes consideration of timing of certain activities and other audit process that need to be completed prior to the performance of further audit procedures. So when you start something, you need to complete it, then you start again for the next thing. For example, planning includes the need to consider auditor needs to consider prior to the auditor's identification and assessment of the risk of material misstatements. Such matters can be the analytical procedure to be applied as risk assessment procedure, obtain a general understanding, legal framework of the entity, and the determination of materiality. It also involves that whether you need to hire some kind of experts, and the performance of other risk assessment procedures. Next, it was the auditor has raised the company has raised funds by issuing fully convertible. So here you need to write for the caro. So of course in the caro there is a clause where the auditor needs to say that whether money raised by the way of initial public offer or further public offer, which includes debt instruments, here in case fully convertible debenture. So and the terms of loans have been applied for the purpose of which those were raised. So if not, you need to jot down all the details together with the delays and the defaults which have been subsequently rectified or not, if any, may be applicable to be reported here. So in the C part, a multinational company wants to appoint you to carry out statutory audit. So with reference to 330 standard, the substantive procedure to be performed to assess the risk of material misstatement, the risk of material misstatement. Substantive procedures, of course, they are they are based on assertions, and assertions are for you can categorize them into two parts: assertion for the account balance periods, and assertions may be in the form of transactions, assertions about the transactions and the events of the private. So it is a very direct question from 330. For talking about D part, it is about the applicability of, I guess, internal auditors. So of course there is a section called 138, and as per section 138 of the Companies Act, the classes of the companies which have been defined, which mandatory required to appoint internal auditor, are every listed company. And for talking about unlisted public company, they must, if they are having paid up share capital of 50 crores rupees or more during preceding financial year, or a turnover of 200 crores or more during preceding financial year, or outstanding loans or borrowings from banks or public financial institutions which exceed 100 crores rupees or more, or the outstanding deposit is 25 crores or more at any point of time during preceding year, then they need to appoint internal auditor. So you need to write down accordingly. And fifth A part was, an auditor is required to make specific evaluation while forming an opinion in an audit report. So of course Specific evaluation by auditor includes the financial statement are adequately disclose all the accounting policies of the company. Accounting policies are selected and applied in a consistent way. Then accounting estimates made by management are reasonable or not. The information present in the financial statement is relevant, reliable, and comparable and understandable. Something like that you need to write down. And you can also write the financial statement provide adequate disclosures about to understand the material transactions or the events which have been taken place. Fifth B part was discussed those requirements which reference to the Companies Act, wherein cost auditor was asked to certify certain things. So of course the certifications to be obtained from the cost auditor includes the firm or the individual or firm, as the case may be, is eligible for getting appointment, and he is not disqualified. He needs to certify that. Also he need to certify the individual or firm, as the case may be, satisfy the criteria provided under section 141, and the proposed appointment is within the limits laid down by the authority of Companies Act 2013, and the list of procedures against list of proceedings in any case from the institute, their respective institute, etc., against the cost auditor or the firm or the any partner. You need to certify, and you need to also certify the matters which have been given are true and correct. And briefly mention about the matters that are relevant in the planning, attendance, and physical inventory counting. Of course you need to see about the nature of inventory, stage of completion of WIP, the nature of internal controls related to inventory, the timing of physical inventory counting, whether the assistant of auditor expert is needed, etc. In the fifth D part, 5 circumstances where conflicting or missing evidence that indicates a possibility of fraud. Here need to write a missing conflicting or missing evidence include missing documents that appear to have been altered, or the significant unexplained items on reconciliation, unusual discrepancy between entities record and confirmation replies, missing inventory or physical assets or significant magnitude. You can also write. So for first and last question, I will be giving you answers in the description box very soon, or also there is a blog of mine, so I will upload all the detailed answer over there. Thank you very much, and let me just let me know how was it for you, and whether there is any other explanations which you think that question might have been answered with. So let me know about your viewpoints and the various questions as well. Thank you.